Guys, it's Brian here. I'm going to make another video on my top things. So, these are my top 7 presidents, and why I didn't do 5 or 10 is because these 7 men are, in my mind, everything a president should be. Good, strong leaders, effective, intimidating if have to be, willing to negotiate, and were effective leaders that got things done as president and led during times of crisis. Yes, alright guys, let's get right into it. At number 7 is Dwight D. Eisenhower. Dwight Eisenhower was president from 1953 to 1961. He was a tremendous president. He led a very strong economy. He secured our border. He did everything a president should be. He was strong and effective, and that's why he's in my top 7. Alright guys, on to number 6. Lyndon Johnson. There's a number of accomplishments I could say about Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson, I don't know about, he was a pretty corrupt man, I would say, but he was a very good president, he's the reason why you don't have to be a certain skin color to sit in part of the bus. He said that no, everyone should be able to ride whatever bus they want and sit wherever they want on the bus. He was the one that signed that into law. Lyndon Johnson was the one that signed that no matter who you are in this country or where you are in this country, if you are a United States citizen and you are of age, you have the right to vote. Lyndon Johnson is also the person who started advocating for 18-year-olds to be able to vote. He was a tremendous person, and, his economy did pretty okay. The Vietnam War stuff I don't like, but he was a tremendous president. Very, very good. And number 5 is Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt was one of our most progressive presidents, yet one of our most conservative presidents at the same time. Teddy Roosevelt was literally just such a great president, so effective. He was a great leader. He was the one that signed the federal minimum wage so we can get paid whatever we want. So not whatever we want, so companies can't walk all over us. He's the one that signed unions and a law that private companies can unionize. Just a tremendous person. He was the one that started advocating for animal rights. Just a tremendous, tremendous person. And he got the teddy bear invented. But great, great person. Great, tremendous person. And a tremendous president. On to number 4, guys. Number 4, JFK. John F. Kennedy. John Kennedy, yes, he had some scandals, cheating on his wife. And yes, there is the argument that he wasn't president that long. But for the little over 2 years that he was president, he was a good president. Not only was the economy strong and stuff, and taxes were low, but he did 2 very great things. He signed it to where anyone can go to school in this country. It does not matter who you are, what race you are. Everyone in this country, across all 50 states, has the right to go to school. And even more importantly, he prevented World War III from happening, which would have killed millions upon millions of people, and would have gotten millions upon millions of people hurt, and the world hurt, the economy hurt, all that. He prevented that from happening with the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Cuban Missile Crisis is clear leadership. The Civil Rights Act is clear leadership that he did, and he's a tremendous person. He truly is a tremendous, tremendous president, and one of my favorites. Number 3 is our first president, the founding father, George Washington. George Washington did so much. He put his life on the line for this country, serving us. Put his life on the line, knowing that if the Britons caught him, he'd be lucky to be in prison for the rest of his life. He was most likely going to get killed if they caught him. He took all this to risk just so we could have a free country, so people could live free and happy. I really appreciate that. Thanks, George. And another thing he did, he was offered dictatorship. He denied it. He set the example that a president should serve only 2 terms. And this is what a president should be. George Washington. On to number 3, guys. Number 2, guys. Number 2 is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln is, in many people's eyes, this was a hard pick for me. He was close to being my number 1. He was just under it. But Abraham Lincoln did so much. He led us through a civil war. He was able to end the civil war. But most importantly, he freed the slaves. He allowed people to stop hurting African American people, and forced them to do things they didn't want to do. Or he made it to where everyone is human, because everyone is a human. And that is president right there. He led, because he was the president that said, a divided house cannot stand. He really led. He ended discrimination. Not that he ended it, but he is the reason why the slaves are freed. Why anybody can go and do these things. Why we're not having these terrible slave things going on anymore. He made it like that. He freed them and started the ending of racism. He was the first one to do it. And I really appreciate it. Thanks, Abe. You really changed a lot of people's lives. And he was a great president. That's why he's number 2 on my list. And number 1 is Ronald Wilson Reagan. Ronald Wilson Reagan was president from 1981 to 1989. In my mind's Reagan, there's so many reasons why he's my favorite president. One, He is the president. It's been proven. None of the economies that have been after Ronald Reagan's were as strong as his, and none of the economies before. His economy is the strongest economy in all U.S. history. Another good thing is, he gave us the longest period of strong economic times in history. 7 out of the 8 years of his presidency, the economy was booming. This is tremendous, guys. It was amazing. He balanced our budget out, which allowed years later the debt to go down. But yeah, he balanced our budget out. He reduced government spending. He cut taxes. He let the private sector be. So he brought a lot of jobs to this country. He gained us a lot of world allies. He was effective. And most importantly in my book, he got Democrats and Republicans and the few independents there were working together and was able to get his agenda passed. Him and Tip O'Neill, they really got the job done. Ronald Reagan is an inspiration. And so, just a traumatic president. And in my view, is the greatest president in all U.S. history. Alright, guys. These are my top 7 presidents. And I just want to say before this is over with, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, any other person that runs for president in the future or is currently running for president, look to these 7 men. Look to Dwight Eisenhower. Or look to Lyndon B. Johnson. Look to Teddy Roosevelt. Look to JFK. Look to George Washington. Look to Abraham Lincoln. And look to Ronald Reagan for leadership, because these men are the equivalent of what a leader should be. They're the equivalent of what strongness and effectiveness is. They are. So, Trump and Biden and anyone else running for president, take a note out of these people's books and learn how to lead and unify, not divide. Alright guys, this is it for today. Let me know, you guys, once again, these are just my opinions. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know who your who some of your favorite presidents are, guys. And please like the video, leave a comment, guys, and subscribe for more. Alright guys, bye.